Well, Mark, there's a lot to unpack in this story. Where do you want to begin?
I guess I want to begin maybe an hour ago with what my emotion was like as I watched him tee off at LIV Golf in London. I really didn't know what to expect from myself as I watched it. I was a little bit numb to it. I was curious, certainly, but at first I had this feeling of sadness, as Brandel so eloquently put forth. I was disappointed. I was kind of embarrassed by a lot of the things that were happening, but an hour into it now, and they've been playing about that long, I'm starting to become angry. I'm watching my emotions kind of evolve, and I feel like we really are in a battle for the heart and soul of our game, the game that I love. And I'm really glad that Jay Monahan and the PGA Tour has come out with this statement now. It's a very important statement. The actions and the sanctions are very important. I totally agree with Todd Lewis. This is going to end up in a court. But I really think the important thing now is that the supporters, particularly the players, and the players are who the consumers and the fans are going to listen to. I think it's going to be important for the players to determine and start really letting their emotions go on what they're feeling. Because as much as we've heard from Rory McIlroy and Justin Thomas and the great supporters of the PGA Tour, I haven't heard any anger yet. And I'm wondering whether or not, now that the PGA Tour has done this, now that Jay Monahan has been very clear about the sanctions, will their emotions kind of change a little bit from, oh, well, if somebody wants to go, they can go. If somebody wants to stay, they can stay. I'd like to see the first guy that gets a little angry about what has happened here, because this could destroy the game.
The memo has very strong language, turning your back on the PGA Tour. I'm curious, from your perspective, is your anger, which was sadness, in part because you feel this is a real threat to the PGA Tour and to the way we have consumed and watched and enjoyed this game and taken notes and enjoyed the history of this game for time immemorial?
I do feel like it's a threat. Golf is different. It's a different kind of game. Going all the way back to the roots of the game and the history, it was built on a different set of principles than most sports. What LIV Golf is doing is more like traditional sports leagues, where they're paying upfront money and guarantees and things like that, and rewarding top players, not necessarily for performances, but for the fact that they've been top players. And golf has always been the ultimate merit system. And I'm just not sure that the consumer, and if you want to grow the game, which the LIV series is not going to grow the game at all, if you want to grow the game, you have to start attracting new consumers. And unfortunately, new consumers aren't necessarily going to be able to differentiate what LIV Golf is saying and doing, especially now that they've got some high-profile players like Mickelson, like Dustin Johnson. Can the average consumer differentiate that from the greatest game in the world and the greatest sports organization in the world, the PGA Tour?
You mentioned Phil Mickelson. A year ago, he gave the game a gift, one of the happiest out-of-left-field moments that we've ever seen, a PGA championship as the oldest winner of a major. I was there at Kiowa. The sun was going down. It was a goosebumps moment. 1 year later, he arrives to London looking unkempt. This is one of the most popular players to ever stick a tee into the ground. What do you make of this past year and where Phil Mickelson stands in the game today?
I had one of those goosebump moments with Phil Mickelson in January at Kapalua on Maui. He had qualified, obviously, by winning the PGA Championship for the Century Tournament of Champions, which he had not played in a couple of decades for a number of reasons. And he decided to come and play this year. And the fans of Maui and everybody, the sponsors and all the other players, just so embraced Phil. And I had a goosebump moment. Talking to him on the 18th green, I believe it was on Tuesday, during his first practice round. And I just had such a good, warm feeling about the fact that he had come. And I saw the way that the people embraced him and the fact that, okay, he was coming, he was playing in the Tournament of Champions. It was important for him to be there. what has happened in the months since then, and it's only been a few months, is just appalling to me. I can't even get my arms around it. It's really hard for me to grasp. So, yeah, a year ago when he won the PGA, that's a long time. But even since January, these 4 months have been unbelievable to me how much the world of golf has changed, and he has been a big part of that change.